Welcome everyone, and while I was out for a walk, I thought I would recount the tale of the failed Jacobite rising of 1708. Now, while the Scottish and English parliaments had agreed the Act of Union on the 1st of May 1707, there was still very much strong feelings against it in Edinburgh and Glasgow. In fact, there had been riots within these two cities to go against the government's authority within Scotland. The Marquis of Queensberry and the Marquis of Argyll, both staunch supporters of the said union, were now in fear of their lives and were believing to start to leave our country. Now, at this moment in time, James Francis Edward Stuart, who was still a child but had been fighting in France under King Louis XIV's army, decided that this was the time was right for an uprising in Scotland for the Jacobite movement to put the Stuarts back onto the throne of England and debunk the Union of Parliaments. On persuading Louis XIV to support his manoeuvres, and it was probably more like the French king, Louis XIV, was thinking more in his favour as he was fighting the Dutch and the English in the Low Countries. And he believed that an uprising in Scotland would draw away a number of the British forces within the Low Countries to suppress the uprising in Scotland, thereby giving his army a break and a chance to overthrow the Dutch and the English. On the 1st of March 1708, James issued a declaration to the people of Scotland, urging the Scots to declare their support for him and rally to his standard. The declaration offered sweeping gestures of generosity. James promised to pardon all of those who had opposed the Stuarts and providing new support for them and the Jacobite cause. He would also supply more money and tax less taxes and restore Scotland's independence within the now formed United Kingdom. He would also grant Scotland the freedom of worship and full rights for all Protestants. He promised amnesty of payment for arrears of pay to all enemy soldiers who defected to his cause after he had landed in Scotland. Now, Louis XIV of France supplied the Old Pretender, James Francis Edward Stuart, with approximately 6,000 troops and more than 30 warships to carry them to Scotland and land them somewhere within Scotland itself. Now, at this moment in time, the fleet was commanded by de Forbin, the soldiers led by de Gace. Now, at this moment in time, they were slightly less enthusiastic about it. They did not want to travel to Scotland and land their men and supplies and take their ships within reach of Scottish battlements, which they believed to be heavily fortified by the English. Now, the English had actually got word of this and put discriminatory information to France that they were ready and waiting for the French fleet to leave France, where they would be hoping to catch it within the English Channel and destroy the entire French invasion force. Now, unfortunately, measles had struck down James and he was seriously ill when they set off from Dunkirk. Now, they had heard that there was an English